All right, we can kick it off. Oh, let's go. Let's go. We are live talking about Star Citizen. And
Or
now,
scam citizen, if you want to put that.
yeah, oh, we gotta, I forgot. I keep forgetting to introduce the podcast these days. It's the 100% Crit podcast, people. And we out here bringing you the heavy hitters. All right. And what are we talking about today? Cynic and D.
Well, Star Citizen, I think, is top of the list right now.
Mm-hmm.
Given the fact that they have pretty much accused their player base of the state the game is in.
Ooh.
For those who haven't been keeping attention, Star Citizen has been in development for what feels like an eternity, but I think it's been going since, what, 2010, 2012? And they had roadmaps of how they plan to take their content forward, and they've now drastically cut back on those roadmaps. So pretty much an end to transparency has now arrived, and the developers have basically lashed out at the player base, claiming that the players, with all of their whining over how when roadmaps get changed, are the reason for the game being in the state that it's in. Which, given this topic, or this company has basically pissed away several $100 million on a game that hasn't even seen a decent beta in 10 years, is frankly laughable in the extreme.
Yeah, so basically, these guys got a roadmap, right? And Star Citizen, by the way, has like $350 million in funding. And it's right, $350 million. And that's from from their players, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's one guy
Or
that
from
actually
supporters
admitted.
also.
Yeah, one guy admitted to buying $30,000 worth of in-game ships.
Right. So this game is heavily funded.
Yeah, yeah,
And now they have like with $350 million, there shouldn't be a game in the world that you can't create
yeah.
and come out
So
with in a reasonable amount of time.
yeah, and what they've now said is that they're effectively halting development on the multiplayer component until the single player version, which they've deemed Squadron 42 for reasons that are beyond
All
us,
right, let's
until
go back
that's.
real quick. Let's go back real quick. Let's
Yeah.
get to so um what these guys are saying here is they accused their own backers of what of for their missed deadlines.
Basically, yeah, saying that the players, because they were under constant expectations to keep things in the roadmap, it's basically a reason as to why the game has basically taken so many winds and turns as it has.
That's wild.
Which, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. That's one of the worst excuses I've ever heard in development for gaming ever.
That's crazy.
I mean, what's our benchmark? Our benchmark is Duke Nukem Forever, and that thing went through at least two engine rewrites, and Star Citizen has been through at least that many, possibly more.
I mean, it's crazy. These guys wrote this 6 days ago, on Reddit, and people are commenting. If this came as a surprise to you, I have no independent product seeks to emulate stamp envelope. Send a stamp envelope for further details.
Yeah, but
What?
don't forget, this is made by a development company whose founder named it after himself.
That's, oh wow,
Yeah, Robert. So this is called Robert's. What's the term?
the space
Robert's
industry.
Space Industries. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
I
Yeah.
get those emails. I'm on the mailing list. And it's titled Robert Space Industries, like like they're like a spaceship company or something, like some SpaceX or whatever. Uh, but anyway, but this is crazy, man. We've been saying on this podcast that allegedly Star Citizen is a scam, allegedly, for a while now. Like probably one of our most listened to episodes is us like saying that. But D was always the voice of reason, quote unquote. What do you think about this new thing now, D?
I had hope, but you know, new information. I guess not.
Ah, did you lose hope?
It sucks. I was rooting for them too. I mean, the art team is great. I like what
Well,
I saw. So
let's put numbers out there. So, the company uses a crowdfunding platform to raise its funds for its video games. So it's called Cloud Imperium Games. That's the company that's used for all the crowdsourcing and investments. They've raised in total in crowdfunding over the course of the last 10 years 380 million US dollars in crowdfunding, as well as over $60 million in external private investments.
Hmm.
So that comes out to just over $440 million. That's the budget which is not even some AAA games enjoy these days.
Listen, man, I don't care. I don't care. If you have that kind of money,
There's no
you should.
excuse.
There's no game that you can't make. There's no excuse. There's no like. That game should be able to come out in a reasonable timeline. Why did it? Why? Why is it not? It's gonna come out in what, in 2040 when everybody's in the metaverse already. That's when it's gonna come out.
From everything that's been said so far, it's a combination of feature creep. So, feature creep, as some people might be aware, is when you have a target set for a deadline and you then decide to delay that deadline in favour of putting something else in it before that deadline is complete. So, your feature list gets increased over time, but your basic gameplay remains the same. And apparently, also, as well, is that Mr. Chris Roberts is also one of the worst people to work for, as in, the man is constantly, allegedly, micromanaging his staff to the point where they can't get shit done without him putting his nose into it.
So we got bad leadership. But so this whole thing goes back to our previous discussions. I said the proper way to develop a game like this is you start small. Give people one or two planets or something they can access. Make the game crisp. Release the game. Build on top of it with further patches or in expansions. What, like, is this not like isn't that how you do things in life?
Unless you're afraid of being mocked relentlessly as being a bad example of a developer, in which case, if they release the client now, I get the impression that the internet community at large will tear it a new one.
Say again?
If they release the game in its current state,
No,
like it
it's too
is,
late now.
yes, it's too late now, yeah, but if they had released it now, if it isn't released in its current form, the internet will tear it apart.
No, because you release it on the client, it would have the development roadmap. Like this is where we are right now. Here's where we're trying
Yeah.
to go. But this
Yes.
game is completely playable right now.
Playable terribly. Yes.
No. I'm saying like the part that you release, you make sure it's crisp because you got $300 million, my guy. You could release a small part of the game and make it crisp. And
Unless the project is so big that optimizing it itself becomes a full-time job for 2 years, in which case you're already far behind in technology when it comes to the engines.
yeah,
Good point.
This is the student premise problem, is that it took so long to polish the product, but by the time they thought they had something worthwhile, it had already been beaten by the market to what it was targeted for.
and that's the problem with like having this long roadmap and whatever. It's like, yo, what are you doing? Like, this is technology here. Like, things are gonna change. Now everybody's talking about VR this, metaverse that, whatever, right? Like, or is your game gonna come out in time for all of that? Before all of that, I mean.
People will come back to it. I think. I still want to play some games I haven't played in 20 years. So depends on how they make it, I guess.
I guess, but I would go back and play some RuneScape today, right? Some old school RuneScape.
Exactly.
But for how long would I play until I get tired of those stupid graphics?
Yeah, I mean, speaking of engine changes, don't forget they went from CryEngine over to Amazon's Lumberyard engine back in 2017. So there's already been a major shit in engine regarding that game that would definitely set the game back several years. Um, and that's the thing is that Amazon Lumberyard, we don't even know its full capability. We don't even know how good it is. And we've seen it in not that many games to draw any kind of conclusions with that yet. And it might even be the case where if it still hasn't reached where it needs to be, another engine change might be on the cards.
Yep. Uh, What is this comment? I call it Pulsar Denizen. Only 6 easy payments of $59.99. What a steal! Only for $1,000, we'll name and plan after you give you your own fully functional Star Destroyer when the game is released. Oh man, self-adjusting envelope. That's funny. Shut up and take my money. Not sure what's funnier, the idiots who fell for this the first time or the ones thinking there's gonna be a game coming out. The world is full of suckers. And a lot of them are hanging out at Kickstarter.com. I, with this, before I put this video on YouTube, right? I want to put a clip of us talking about this thing, like in our like old episodes. Jesus, dude, this is crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy, and the game, you never got to this stage.
So let's say they pay you a lot of money, and they say you're the CEO of Robert Space Industries now. What do you do to turn this around?
That's a very good question, because I don't know the internals of what the game looks like. I've had to go by what other people say the game looks like when they've had to pre-expose to the alpha content. And first of all, it depends on how much money is left over, because you still have to pay people. You've got to pay people to run the company, so you've got to pay people, you've got to pay your artists, you've got to pay your programmers, and I need to know how much is in the kitty before making that kind of judgment. So that's a sort of moot point. Assuming infinite money, and assuming that that's not a problem, is identify the areas of the game which are not up to par, and then for the moment, polish those and do a complete feature freeze. So freeze the code base, bug fixes only, no new features, and then have that game at least brought out into beta, so it can be launched in kind of closed beta backdoors to see how well it is received by those that play it. So basically, imagine doing some kind of mass field trial under an NDA. So you don't want to go out. If you can try and control the NDA at this point, try and control the damage. Yes, I would go down that route, and then based on the feedback that players get with the game, I'd either continue with the game further polishing, so occasional maybe new features and more bug fixes going in. If it's very poorly received, consider scrapping the entire thing, go back to the drawing board.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's the thing you have to realise is that there's something called the sunk cost fallacy, is that you can't keep pouring money into a project because you've already poured money into something. You've got to realise whether or not the game will be viable upon release and at least received positively based on what you're able to put out there. If you can't achieve that, you should not release it. And if the game concept isn't even popular, you do go to the drawing board and find out what is popular, because between 2012 and 2022, 10 years have passed, and the world is vastly different in the way that we consume media and look to play our games now.
Yeah.
I mean, 2012 was what? We were approaching, what, Mass Effect's sort of apex at the time, I suppose? And so we're no longer looking at sci-fi the same way, are we? We're not looking at EVE Online the same way. Those have all changed in 10 years, and our anticipation of what we need for our next sci-fi fix has also changed, I suspect. And one has to wonder, if you were to release Star Citizen now, let's assume that you put the bug fixes in, let's assume that the game is somehow not a hot mess when it comes out. It's actually possible now that when you play that, you're like playing a game that you wanted about 10 years ago. But when you're playing it now, your desire for what you want to play is now vastly different, and the game would then tank regardless.
Okay, now let's D, what do you think about what he said?
I agree.
Okay, let's go into conspiracy land. Right? So this is all alleged territory.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what Star Citizen is really about. Is it really about making a game?
Or is it about
balling out of control?
Yeah. Or is it a massive investment platform that's looking to shovel up some kind of money laundering program?
Yeah.
Is it a series of people who in the alien universe will be stealing a living?
Oh man. What? You have
I think they should
300.
release the assets. If it comes out that it's a big scam or whatever, and it shuts down, they should release the assets because they have some amazing artwork in it.
I think every video game should do that. Yeah, go ahead.
I think if that happened, someone would sue them into oblivion, and then someone would buy up the IP afterwards. Probably Microsoft.
That'd be nice. I mean, not that they get sued, but someone
No,
takes it over. You know.
no, but the only way that robbers are ever releasing that stuff is if someone sues them into bankruptcy and someone buys the remains of the company.
It's really sad because I think um I think every game that's shutting down should just release all the code and assets and stuff. Because man, while the developers may be incompetent, but players, man, that kind of enjoyed the game will take the game so much further than developers could. I see that so much with private servers. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, man. Uh, what was
Also,
I
don't forget
saying?
that. But don't forget at the time, Star Citizen came around after Eve also started doing something which no one had done before, and that was launching a spin off within its own universe in a different style of play. Like, for those that don't know, Eve Online used to have, on the PlayStation 3, a spin off called Dust 514.
Yes,
And
sir.
the idea was it was a first person shooter that whose consequences for playing would bleed over into the real Eve game that played on PC, and the two would occupy a shared universe whereby you could send through technically orders to take over a planet in the main game, and yet
Incredible idea, by the way.
your faction in Dust would then be able to take over and act on those orders. Great concept, but it was limited for two reasons. Is that one, it was stuck on the PS3, and the PS3, as we know, expensive for its time, and Xbox was in some territories much more popular. And secondly, even on PS3, it was locked behind the PlayStation Move hardware. You had to have Move controllers to use the game. You couldn't operate it with just a controller, and that further locked out people from wanting to play the game, myself included.
Yeah. Ooh.
Had it been on PC, it would have been an absolute wild success. I actually am astonished that somebody at CCP didn't go and think, what platform is traditionally the heartland of first person shooters? Oh, I know, the PC. Why don't we release it on there and then rake in the money coming from that game for the next 10 years while sitting on our laurels and giving Eve just cursory updates? They could have made a
Ooh.
killing akin to TF2 and hats by releasing that on the PC.
Bro, you see what CS:GO did? Like,
Oh, I mean, the guns and skins.
yeah.
Yeah, Valve is at the moment. I'm actually of the opinion now that Valve is no longer a video game developer. Valve is a
And
maker of basically a
and
video game NFTs. Yeah,
yeah.
about that. Valve is making of NFTs now in games and has been now for several years.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
But it's funny, we didn't call it NFTs. We just called it just game items or whatever. But
Yeah.
there's a funny
But
name for it now. So
Yeah, but the concept is still there. What Valve is doing, you could easily put up, if assuming that you had a regulated NFT system, you could use that with NFTs. But yeah, in-game skins, in-game guns, in-game everything, Valve pretty much have the market locked down on that, frankly.
pretty much.
Like, Blizzard wishes it was that good at doing in-game items from its games.
All right, let's say allegedly I'm Star Citizen CEO, Mister Kwan, and I wanted to think of an elaborate scheme to make a whole lot of money and live very lavishly.
I would say fake your own death and go for the insurance.
Er, that is not a good idea, sir. um, uh, I create this game where I get these crazy features and sell people on it. Start a Kickstarter or whatever. All these funding things, get people to fund it. We're going crazy. Meanwhile, I'm buying houses, cars, whatever, balling out of control, you know, giving my family money. Then, $250 million later, I try to work on the game. Work on the game, and it's not working. It's not working. Now I'm getting angry. No, first I'm scared that it's not working. But then my fear turns into anger. I get angry. I get angry at the people. Like, it's you guys' fault, you know? I'm trying to do this. But you guys won't. It's like this, I don't know, what do you call this? I'm not a psychologist, I wish I was. It's like this, where you blame other people for your failures. What is that? Hypocrisy or something? I don't know. But it's interesting, man. You think he spent all that money?
I think a lot is left over, and frankly, if I were with him right now, the first thing I would say to him, he should resign because he's proven himself incapable of taking a development studio with more backing than most publishers give their games into making a product that he can ship, and that at the very least he needs to step down from any kind of leadership role, give him some kind of honorary position, give him some kind of bullshit corporate title like, oh, this guy will be a consultant for us, or some kind of way he can still stay with the project. I wouldn't even be opposed to that, but limit the damage that he can do, and then at the very least restructure the company so that it's able to put out a product and it's able to at least say, here's what we're aiming at, here's where we're going, and nothing here will then deviate from that course. And then may have a product that's able to release, although in what shape it will be is anybody's guess.
Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah, this is crazy. Because, man, once you fall into these holes, man, it's just so hard to come back.
All I'm gonna say is some people are so poor that all they have is money.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think if they had that 300 million or 350 whatever or whatever it is, that they would have had a game. So obviously something happened to that money.
I hope they work it out. It had great legs. The game.
Great legs need a damn some feet and an upper body too.
Yeah.
uh, all right, man. We could jump to the next story. I think we beat this Star Citizen up.
Here's what I wanted to cover with you, D, because as we all know, sorry, not D, sorry, with you, Homie Kwan. As I say, you're a PvPer, as D is as well,
Yeah.
and I want to get your opinion on both of you for this one. So,
What is
with
this
a
about?
PvP, with a video game,
Mhm.
especially take World of Warcraft, let's take Dark Age of Camelot, is a core conflict between in-game factions a critical recipe to ensuring healthy PvP in a video game MMORPG.
Yes, I would say
Okay,
so.
okay. So, World of Warcraft developer, Mr. Hazikostas, the guy is now taken over World of Warcraft. He basically has now said in an interview that Blizzard now considers the conflict between the Horde and the Alliance to be at a permanent end.
Oh, they made up.
Yeah, they made up. So Battle for
Mm,
Azeroth basically was the last major conflict between the two powers that they foresee, and that they say that from here, the relationship between the two sides, the Horde and the Alliance, can only get stronger.
yeah. So hold on one second here. Um. The so what does that? Is
So,
that written in the? Do they have like lore and stuff?
well, yeah, they have lore and stuff, but the lore and stuff basically surround. Well, you know how the Warcraft lore started off. So the Orcs invaded the world of Azeroth, and then they were briefly for a time second-class citizens until Thrall led them to Durotar and they founded the nation of Orgrimmar. And of course, the humans and the elves saw them as intruders in their world, and the Horde to survive was mostly a marriage of convenience. It wasn't anything more than that. But the Horde's main issue with contention with the Alliance in recent years has literally been Sylvanas, because Sylvanas is the leader of the Forsaken, and the Forsaken are basically the antithesis of what you would class as stability in a world like
Mm,
Azeroth.
yes.
So, with Sylvanas being how she is in Shadowlands, they've said that the core element now of the conflict has come to an end. There's now because you've actually had members of the Forsaken speaking with members of the Alliance for the first time without getting their heads shot off. That's progress.
I
Yeah.
think they can keep the conflict if they add open world territory control with personal stake, like Anarchy Online did. Like there's three different factions in there, and in some of the times we all hang out with each other, and we also hate each other, but love each other at the same time. You know, we also fight like because we have territory in the open world. I think.
But man, look like what was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? Okay, so what I wanted to say is I thought weren't there books that are they so at this point in the game they're making the lore up as they go, right? Is that the thing?
I'm not sure.
The
I'm not sure. No.
not the cynic because I don't read the books or anything. They do have like books that come with the stories and all that, right?
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, so there are elements in the game that happen that are vastly, vastly oversimplified with regards to how the books like. There's a scenario that depicts the destruction of Theramore, and it deviates in several very, very important things with what how the book portrays it, and the way the book portrays it makes Garrosh look 20 times worse.
All right. So do they write the books first before the game, or they just make the game and then, or at the same time?
They commission a writer for it, so they're given the premise as to what they need the story to convey. And I think the artists are given reasonably free reign, but they do have lore instructions, I think, given to them by Blizzard themselves.
All right. Mm. So
I
I
mean,
guess they're making this up as they go.
well, of course they are, yeah. But at the same time, is that take Arthur's example and the Lich King novel. That was heavily, heavily, I think, directed by Blizzard. They needed to tell a certain story. Like, for example, what's not really explained in the game and what the book details is that one day Arthur, as a young prince, is galloping off down on a snow-swept road, and what's happening is that his horse Invincible loses his footing
Right.
and breaks his leg and isn't able to continue forwards. And Arthas is obviously he's come to the conclusion in a way to render Invincible without pain is to kill him because the horse is broken his leg. There's no way out for a horse like that. So kills his horse and has to bury him nearby, and that haunts him. And the very first thing he does upon becoming a Death Knight and coming back to Lordaeron after the Lich King's intervention is he resurrects Invincible as a Lich horse, as an undead horse. And
Savage.
in exactly, and in the final dungeon, in the Icecrown Citadel, the song that you hear in the background
Mm-hmm.
um, during the confrontation with Arthas and the aftermath
Yeah.
is all about his horse and Invincible rising from the dead and serving him once again.
Bro, that's my favorite
Like,
expansion, man.
yeah, exactly. It's never explained in game, but or at least not very well beyond some quests. But the book really goes into it, and it really tugs at your heartstrings with how he felt at putting down basically his favorite beast at the time, his favorite pet.
Yeah. Um.
Like
Go ahead.
likewise with the next book, which I think was the Sundering, which was the Cataclysm book, is it really puts into perspective how much Jaina thought herself naive when she'd been with the Horde and trying to get the two to see eye to eye for many years. Um, the depth of her betrayal at seeing Garrosh destroy Theramore uh, was so over. It was so played well in the book. It should have been its own dedicated cutscene series in the game beyond what we had for the scenario. The scenario doesn't even do that justice. The scenario has like a mana bomb explode and leaving Jaina to contemplate what's happened. But Jaina's depth into her madness and depression was so well fleshed out in the book. It honestly is criminal how underplayed it was in the game.
Okay. So, uh, getting back to the PvP thing. So I guess since they always kind of made the game up like kind of according to the book, not really. So I guess they're not really bound to anything. I would say. So my thing is the PvP, man. If the alliance and horde are friends or whatever, it could still be good. It could still be cool if the PvP is crisp. Um, and they won't bring back open world PvP. So most of
But but the PvP is changing as a result of this. So what's happening now is that they actually have now put plans in place that will eventually allow Horde and Alliance members to complete raids, dungeons, and battlegrounds together.
yeah, I'm saying that doing BGs together is I don't mind that actually. It's not it wouldn't be a problem doing BGs with alliance members because I play in World of Warcraft private servers where they have like integrated BGs, and when you queue, there's alliance members on your team, right? And you're right, and then you just do the BG together and win and try to win. Uh, so that's not really an issue. Um, where it becomes an issue is open world PvP stuff, but they kind of remove that, right? You have to flag yourself, but how to? So I guess that's off the table. They're completely removing it now, right?
What was the
Uh,
saying? That go on, go on, go on.
I was gonna say they should take a look at Nodal Wars and Anarchy Online. That's it.
Yes. So you down with the territory? I don't think Blizzard would ever consider something like that. I think their game. I don't know, man. They cater to. I don't know. I think they kind of
And
killed the game, man. I don't think they can revive it. I think it's only going downhill. I believe.
we'll see.
It's like I don't know.
I mean, there's so much they could do to improve the game. Like they need to bring back all the cut content, all the cut legendary quests they've cut out of the game, all of the cut things like the Battle of the Wrathgate being cut out was absolutely criminal. That should never have been cut out. But we need to make things as slightly better for the player. I mean, RNG right now in the game. Let's just take those who are chasing transmogs. Chasing transmogs right now is one of the worst RNG things possible. Take Rift as an example. So Rift, in order to unlock things for the wardrobe, when your player acquires an item, the player must be able to wear it. So when you're a warrior, you can wear everything. So plate, mail, leather, cloth. So every time one of those drops, it unlocks for you, which perversely means is that if you are one of the other classes, like the other types of classes that can't wear everything, there are restrictions as to what will happen when that drops. Some will unlock and some won't, which may be considered unfair, but in the age of alts and World of Warcraft, if you're using a warrior, warriors can do everything except warglaives and wands. So
Right.
is it logical to have a player in World of Warcraft able to wear everything that can unlock everything, mostly from a raid, make it fairer? Or is the current RNG system permanently suited so that you have to be on a class that has to unlock it as a primary arm type for it to drop and be used correctly? Alternatively, would having a button at the beginning of the instance saying, please return me to the front of the instance when I've completed it, be also be better for trying to maximise min-maxing dungeons to get these RNG items.
Yeah. Oh.
Guild Wars 2 has a button like that. Guild Wars 2 you can return, for instance.
Yeah. Uh. I don't know, man. Do you see like a future in World of Warcraft, or is it just like downhill from here?
I mean, I can't see how the next expansion will change things. I mean, the next expansion allegedly would be the Dragon Isles. Allegedly, I've heard that name floating about quite a bit. If it happens, it happens. But I don't recognise what they can do without opening up the game so that you can experience all the old content as it should be. Because if your answer to the game is we're going to keep you from being able to only play the end game content for the current expansion, I don't foresee it being any friendlier to the system than it is at the moment. Because in order to be friendly, you need to have a system whereby you can take the game off for a bit, go ahead and do something else, but still go ahead
I
and
continue.
do the old content at your
Yeah.
leisure. Like Square
Yeah.
Enix, Square Enix has taken a few things out. I'm not saying they're perfect, but they've kept the vast majority of the content within the game. You can still go out and make the relics for the old expansions. It will be an age to do it for all of them if you're doing all the classes with you, but you can still do it.
Yeah, man. Oh, all right. What else do we have? I think World of Warcraft is.
Yeah,
I
Lost
think this is it
Ark.
for them.
Yeah.
I'll play Wrath of the Lich King when they release it again. When they
Yeah, they're taking their sweet time with that.
Yeah, they need to stop. I think they're scared of the private servers, but they're a classic servers. They weren't scared of this. So.
No, but I think they're looking at it as being their next cash cow because right now TBC is sort of now dead because I was say it's dead on a lot of realms now given what's happened because a lot of people are now seeing have the initial remember that pass that came out the Dark Portal pass that they first did. People saw that and thought nope, not doing this and just dived out. And
All
I'm wondering if they'll do the same for Lich King.
Oh man, I just hope they do it right, man, because it'll bring them back my subscription for sure. All right. What else we got? We got Lost Ark just released today.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that and report back for sure. For sure, because it looks promising. We watched the trailer and it did look pretty cool. So I'll try that out. See what the PvP life is like, and report back. What else? What else? What else? We had. Did you have something you want to talk about?
Nope, we covered everything. I think.
All right, and so we could watch this. So the Zenith MMO thing has been taking over, and let's see if we can take a look at it. It's a VR MMO, and this is the trailer for it. You guys ready? You guys watch? You guys looking at my screen?
Yeah, 2 seconds.
All right.
Yeah, you know.
All right. All right. This is Zenith, the last city.
Entire world untouched by the fracture.
So I'm trying to get a pretty language. That's right.
Yeah. Nah, this is straight runes of magic for me. That WoW clone?
Well, you only love the Japanese guy.
Oh, not this one though. This is straight what you call it?
Oh, in-game currency. Didn't see that coming.
Hey. I told you it was the future.
But is the future graphics from 2005 though?
Oh look, real quick. I mean, but it's VR. I guess I cut him some.
See, this could work with PRV to PSVR 2 so we can control it.
How long is this? Yeah, I'm gonna- Wow. Yeah, so this has been all over my email. It's all over the news sites. What you guys think about it?
I love how your comment was not, oh, this looks good. It was, how long till this video ends?
That sums it up.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was
exactly.
it. That was it. What you call it? That wasn't what I meant. I'm like, how long is it gonna take? Because we're doing a damn video and we're streaming. This is funny. Uh,
No, is this on PS4 at the moment?
it's on PlayStation VR, Oculus, and Steam.
Okay. Is it free to play?
I believe.
Because if it is, I might look at downloading because I've got a PSVR headset and see how bad the motion sickness gets.
Ooh, I forgot about motion sickness.
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, because I was playing one of the demos you get on the VR system when you get it.
Oh wait, no, it might not be free, is it?
It said PSVR.
Let me see, get on Steam. Oh no, it's $30. $30.
That's not bad, considering.
It's not bad for especially a VR game.
I mean, it's early access though, so.
Yeah, for sure. Better than Star Citizen.
Yeah, that's so low though.
Oh man. So what you think about the trailer?
Looks legit. Art's great. It's not my style, but it's for somebody.
Yeah, I mean, it looks okay, but for me, without actually getting to play the content, I'm always skeptical when someone presents a trailer like this because what they're thinking is this really gameplay? Am I experiencing gameplay, or am I experiencing a developer flying around in the world and not giving me a true view of what the game is like, just to sell a trailer? Because we've seen that before.
For sure.
I love the creativity with the world, the landscape, and all that. That's pretty refreshing.
Yes, it's either gunmetal grey or dogshit brown.
Jesus Christ. I didn't see any PvP, so that turned me off.
I thought I did see some PvP.
It looked like he was fighting some monsters only, though. Some mobs.
I could have sworn there were fighting other humanoids like halfway through.
Yeah, there was other people, but he was fighting them. I like finding things that thinking creatures. Huh? These mobs don't think; they just get hit. Ooh. Imagine a mob trying to hit me in a game. Not gonna happen. In a VR game where I can move, not gonna happen. Understand? So I need a human to fight against me. Do people get like exhausted playing these VR games? Like or can you like just wing it and sit down and pretend like you're running?
Your brain gets exhausted because you're having to. Because of how VR works, VR is like an immersive visual environment. So your brain is trying to process what's happening visually with what it knows your body is doing, which is absolutely nothing, and that it creates a huge conflict. And trying to control that is actually quite exhausting. Like I remember playing once as a part of the games where I was literally hopping between platforms, and these platforms were asteroids. And in doing so, every time I jumped platform, I was doing a 90-degree camera turn at the same time as the hop. And because my body is motionless, my body of course is doing nothing. It's lying on my bed, but my brain was thinking, "You're moving. Why aren't you doing anything?" And it made me feel really uneasy, and I wasn't actually used to that. I'd never get travel sick, but that gave me some serious motion sickness vibes for the first time.
Oh, yeah, I've never got seasick or motion sick or anything. I've seen people get seasick like crazy, but not me. Never happened.
Oh yeah, you must use get seasick on ferries all the time, but yeah, I mean there are medications for it, and yeah, but VR, I do plan to go back on that, but my thing in mothball right now. I do plan to break it down now. I've got the PS5.
Yeah. These are the companions. Man, to be honest, I gotta congratulate. It seems like they put something together.
Yeah, I mean, I actually like that art style. That the style of these things here, these assets here, I like. That's a lot of dedication to the craft. That's quite high quality.
Yeah, for sure. Especially this one. This one looks legit. Banshee.
Gives me wild. Say, it gives me Wild Star vibes.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to say it.
They are nice.
WildStar. What other game? What game? Paladins. This character here, I could see like a Paladins character. The free to play game on Steam that I play every now and then. And this Forester reminded me of what's that game that I love playing? Crowfall. What they were showing this.
The one where you are an undisputed PvP legend.
Yes, I am a PvP legend on Crowfall, bro. PvP legend. Bro, when I get in that game, it's high praises, bro. High praises. But this is all from my own propaganda. So I got a YouTube channel, Even Gaming, where I posted all the Crowfall videos when I was playing, and read the comments on those. Amazing. And watch the videos. It's just me going crazy, and talking crazy shit. So it's cool, man. And that got me like it made me infamous in the Crowfall community. Infamous. It was cool. Nah, man, I love that game in their community, man. One of the most fun communities I've ever been a part of. Like, those guys are, like, the support, it was crazy from them. Yeah, I would come home and couldn't make a video, about Crowfall. What else? What else do we have? Is that it? Can we scroll through MMORPG.com, see what they got?
Let's scrape the barrel, shall we?
Scrape the barrel. Launch argues on Amazon fixes deployment issues. Yeah, that's all. That's all.
Yeah, I was worried about Time Reach. Time Reach is basically just put forward a shutdown.
Ew. New world will merge servers in all regions. Oh god, that can't be good. Eternity's End is coming to World of Warcraft.
Yeah, it's a patch. The next patch coming out.
These guys never put out like super bad news on games typically.
Yeah, don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Yeah, for sure. Like when Star Citizen's going through all the little drama on Reddit,
Yeah.
Zero post about it.
Yeah, of course, but yeah, exactly. Because as I was saying, they get kickbacks from people to make sure that their articles get published. So they're not going to bite the publishers at all.
Allegedly. Lost Ark early access peaks at over 350, 530K concurrent users. Jeez. Sheesh. I didn't know that many people would buy early access, bro. I was waiting for the launch to play. These guys are dedicated. Can't wait to try the little PvP thing I saw, though. Hopefully I saw it correctly.
How much was it? 540,000, was it?
Bro, I read that number wrong. 530,000, yep.
530,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool.
So already, assuming those numbers are correct, and assuming that they're all paying customers, that's immediately raised just under $60 million US.
Mm-hmm. And Star Citizens take notes, is what you're saying?
I'm saying I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah, bro, you should start a company, Cynic Space Industries. And bro, like just have big goals, bro, and start a fund. Easy. And then, bro, like 3 years later, just be like, guys, we tried, but it didn't work out. Yo, this is evil, dog. Because there can be legitimate issues on something like that happening, right? Your building catches on fire, you lose all the game. Oh, that's not even the truth because all your stuff should have been backed up to probably a hot site or to a cloud or something. So that's not even an excuse that, oh, you lost all the files and you can't continue. I don't know, man. Once you touched other people's money and you said you were gonna do something with it, bro, that's a huge deal, man. That's a huge deal. I don't
Yeah.
think you ever come back from that unless you change your name or something. Or yeah, it's like a scammer. Once you've messed up your name, coming back from that is hard, hard. Unless you completely apologize, change your character, and never ask people for money ever or anything ever again. Like it'll take a long time. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I don't see anything here. So I think we're gonna be coming to an end. Zenith again. Uh, new GTA is in development. Nice.
Yeah, and they've explicitly avoided calling it GTA 6. Like, we don't even know what this game is about. They've just confirmed the new GTA is in development. It could be anything.
What city do you think it's gonna be in, or should it be in?
Okay, I expect it to be in Liberty City.
Okay.
For some reason, because Liberty is like a mainstay of the series and it gets a lot of love. It should be in Vice City, but the
Yes.
problem is,
Bring
how do
back
you make
Vice
a
City.
Vice City? But the problem with Vice City is that back when that game came out, is that it was time locked in the 1980s. It was literally set in the past. How would you make a Vice City that simultaneously keeps the aesthetic but drags the kicking and screaming into the 21st century?
Dude, like the modern day, like make it modern day Miami. Like you will still get those vibes. I know like you won't get like the art style, but I mean the new Miami is still something you can make a game out of. Just
Oh, but Till has
just
been Till has been popular recently in video games. It
dude,
has been uh, is is done in Watch Dogs Legion have London as being the setting, because right now London is it was done as a spin-off of GTA back in the original, and I think right now it could work in the 21st century with like a, an undercurrent of gang activity, like a sort of British mafia, if you will. Have you ever seen the film Layer Cake?
Larry Cake? No.
Yeah, fine, go and find it because it's one of the things I best think of that will best describe what I'm talking about. But long
Am I
story
not
short,
cultured?
yeah, exactly. But yeah, imagine having a imagine the mob essentially. But imagine having a mob that operates on Britain's streets.
Yeah.
The ones you get involved if you've got a problem too big for you and you don't fancy getting the police involved, like murder, kidnapping, extortion, blackmail, drug money, drug running, that sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah, imagine how that would play, and you have the entirety of London. So the tube system, you've got various landmarks. Have it an interactive system sort of playing, I suppose, on Watch Dogs. Like you'd have interactive terminals, ATMs you could hack, things like that. Things that would make GTA a bit more involving interactive from my perspective. Yes, and yet still get the same variety, so still get those same weapons. So Uzis, handguns, RPGs, and just pretend for a moment that GTA in London allows open carry for a second, because otherwise it wouldn't work.
But I think you do it. I still think you just do it in Miami, bro. Because Miami is like a hotbed of like international money. People coming in on vacation. You got Russians, you got Arabs, you got it's
Cubans.
like yeah, it's a lot of people coming in there spending a lot of their ill-gotten money too. So you have some great stories with that, and it's just supercars, Lambos, and nightclubs, and yo, I think it's perfect for GTA. Perfect. And yachts and this and that. That's the life. That's the lifestyle down there. So
Yeah, it's a question of it's more the question of yeah. If I said you had its own aesthetic, but how would you give a 21st century spin on it? How would you make it representative not only of the culture it's supposed to be, but also keeping in touch with modern times?
Mm.
Would it be just new fancier drugs? Would it be an increase in? Would it be actual weapon sales going through? You think, or would it be slightly more nefarious things going on, like regime change? and the bad kind of pornography.
I think it should be the same thing, like just the dealing with the criminal underworld, right?
And strippers.
And strippers.
The best thing about that game was the only strip club was a British man.
But I think the story should be way more in depth, right? It should
I
be
mean,
way more. In
once his plot was you are there to do a drug deal, it goes wrong, and you down to get the money back before your boss comes and tears you a new one.
Yeah. I think there should be a thing where the CIA is involved and it was a whole government conspiracy in there. I think they should weave all that in there because all that is weaved into Miami's story, like the real life Miami story. So they should weave something like that in the game story too. I think that'd be interesting. How the CIA was kind of interwoven with the drug world. Um. Oh boy. Yeah, it's cool.
One thing I want to touch on is allegedly Sony's upcoming change to PlayStation. That Sony hasn't said they haven't said anything of what it's supposed to be, but the internet's running wild with rumors of what it's supposed to be.
We said the next PlayStation.
Next PlayStation update. So there is
Oh.
allegedly a change called Project Spartacus coming at some point, and Sony has said absolutely nothing regarding this, apart from a few oblique references. But people seem to be, uh, based on data mining, because there have been some store screw ups where I think they were doing A and B testing and things have gone quite according to plan. But people have uncovered, allegedly, that there's going to be changes coming to how they do PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus and what games they offer through the player experience.
Yeah.
So at the moment, you've got PlayStation Plus, which you have to take out if you want to do online play on the PS4 and PS5, with some exceptions. Um, and it calls you access to games on a monthly basis for those, similar as you would do with Xbox Unlimited right now. But what they're originally planning is they're planning on apparently incorporating PlayStation Now into like at least one of the tiers of products going forward, and then potentially, based on people of data mined, actual proper running of PS1, PS2, PS3, PSP, and PS Vita games on the PS5. As in, it would
I
be
thought they were gonna do this stuff from the start. To be honest with you.
it was missed with the PS4. I think was a huge missed opportunity with that one. But from what it looks like here, everything apparently on the PS5 is capable of doing at least PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and PSP off the bat.
Of course.
PS Vita wouldn't be too much of a difficulty given the fact that they can already emulate that environment decently. The major problem, internally at least from what I understand, is PlayStation 3 because of how different the architecture was. But if you look at how far RPCS3 has come in the last couple of years, even on modest hardware, you can now get full speed PS3 gaming. The vast majority of games out there now.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think
Yeah.
they should have been done this. To be honest with you. Uh.
I mean, I personally would love being able to fish out my own games and play the original Gran Turismo properly. And allegedly, there's also a
Yes.
patent which Sony have also put a patent forward. Now, there's obviously no guarantee they're going to do this, but it would make sense. Is they already have a patent system whereby they can monitor the memory locations inside a video game that's this old, PS1 and PS2, and actually incorporate properly trophies using an abstraction layer without requiring any modification to the internal code of the game.
Hopefully they can pull it off, man. Because I mean,
Yeah.
they should have worked on that a long time ago. But hey, it's better late than never. And you're talking about Gran Turismo. Yeah, I remember all these old games, man. Midnight Club, Gran Turismo.
I mean, imagine for a second being able to go back to the PlayStation One and not be don't be concerned, of course, how it looks, because what you can, I think the PS2 primarily actually had this functionality, is the PS2 can do texture filtering, so that it can look and make PS1 games look better than they used to be using the PS2's technology. If you ran it through that, PS1 games would sort of look passable on current systems. As long as you forgive that, PlayStation would be absolutely worthwhile playing again on those new systems.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I think we've been recording for an hour and 4 minutes now. I think we're good. I think we're good, man. think we're good. We talked. I think everything we listed, we talked about. So that's good. Man, whoever's listening, wherever you are, one or two people or no peoples, I appreciate you for listening. We appreciate you guys. And this is the 100% Crit Podcast, and we're out. See y'all next week. Boom.